You have 3 viewers. You're doing such a good job, Storm. Thank you, sir. All right, in your box. Brand new, well, fresh out of the laundry machine shirt, and it's already covered in storm hair. How we doing, guys? Bjorn's here, Ian's here. Welcome, 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 everybody. We are going to be doing some painting of a big, giant, I think this is 30, okay, Storm, you got places to be? No, he wants to sit on it. Okay, well, we have a 32-inch piece of foam board here that needs to be painted up. That's going to be a backdrop over behind us. So, hi. Say hello, Nebula. This is Storm. He's decided he's got to be in the way. And you can hang out in your box. There you go. Or you can go in the other room. Good boy. You chill out here. And got a wall section. It'll actually be oriented this way. This will be at the bottom up against the wall, but just for the sake of the pure size of this thing, this is how we're doing it. Yeah. No, sir. You stay right there, buddy. I got a feeling I'm gonna get paint on this cat by the end of the day. I'm sure of it. As usual, I like to start with black. Yeah, Storm, it's paint. And normally I would do Mod Podge into this mix, but I'm gonna try something here. We will get some Mod Podge worked into it, but it's gonna be done a little bit a different way. But I'm using a 1-inch chip brush because it's such a gigantic surface area and there's all these deep crevasses and dents that we did with a... I actually did 90% of this with a stone, a couple of stones from outside from the frozen ground I snatched up. Then I went to the grocery store today and picked up foil, so... And I made a foil ball, and that's just to add texture to the foam. You roll it, you change all the directions, and it just gives more recesses, more depth, more places for shadows to be created. And when we really weather this thing, when we really dry brush it, you'll see those shadows do a lot of the hard work in making this look like real stone. And this, you could do this as 1/1 scale. Like, as you can see, it also works on this. It is just a piece of plastic. This happens to be 3D printed, but it literally could be a plastic ring in a circle hole, and it's recessed in. And that'll be, I'm actually going to keep that loose until I glue it in place, but I got to figure out how I want to, if I want to put a lighting feature in there, or if I want to put like a grate that can be removable, or like swapped out from inside that recess piece, but it is just a 3D printed ring. You could use a can lid. What is it, Storm? He pays zero attention when I work all day. He just hangs out there and purrs. If I'm sitting here like doodling something, pays no mind, but for whatever reason, because cats can see blue really well, he seems to be paying attention to this. So hopefully he learns something, and we can get him working on some basic projects to start here at the studio, and then eventually we'll work him up to bigger projects like this wall. So one day, buddy, you'll be on the big leagues doing this. This sheet of foam is just a piece of foam board, and I actually recorded it. I'm putting it in my, like, lump of various little tiny things that I've been doing. As you can see, I still have whatever remnants of this thing that I had going on here, but I took a hairdryer and I spent 20 minutes, 10 minutes on either side, just with a hairdryer, and I peeled the whole sheet of paper off, one giant sheet on both sides. I had 2 little tiny spots that were like where the cardboard or the card had been punched into the material, like it got dinged. So I had to pick those off, but otherwise, tremendous effect. It used to take me at least an hour to sit there and peel and peel and peel. Whoa, 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 careful, bud. Where you going? Oh, okay, there we go. Down there. Okay. Thanks, man. We'll see you later. And Christ, I forgot what I was saying. Yep, I lost it. Hair dryers, right. So normally what would take me well over an hour to just sit and peel all the paper off the back. In fact, I've got one right here. And it's like that. It's got a sheet of paper on it, a coating, and it's glued on there. And yeah, you can see, like, it'll start to peel up, but then at a certain point, it just starts to stay glued to the paper because of the process. So I just sat there and continued to hit it with the heat gun, turned the heat gun off, peeled it a little bit, hit it, and I did a big circle all the way around the middle, and then finished off the middle and pulled it off. And it was a, what up, dead man? It was a really good way to clear the paper off of this foam board. So now I have this perfect, like, you know, I'm using it as a giant backdrop sheet of stone, and it's thin enough so that when I attach it to the wood, if I need to mount anything else to the wood, it's just little, you know, 1/8 of an inch foam, 4 mil foam. So that was really cool, and a really great time saver, because like I said, I used to do these sheets and they would take me at least an hour to get that off of there, and 20 minutes of just me being careful, being, you know, aware of what I was doing while I was working on it, and I was able to get it done, and it was a huge time saver. And as I said, I'm just working this, using this chip brush to help work the black paint into all these recesses that we made with the foil ball. And I can, you know, can start on here too. There's a bunch of different textures on this stone piece because I wanted to make it seem like maybe it was a different type of stone, carved out, kind of like a temple piece. Obviously we have the bricks, we'll do those a different way with the paint, but this is going to be a, I'll call it a quick process, because all's told we'll have this done when the stream's, you know, before the stream's over, because it is a large scale piece that's going to be used primarily as a backdrop, and it doesn't have to be, you know, I don't have to add anything to it, I don't have to think about it, I can just do, right? I do need to go and get a couple new replacement things of black. I have various blacks and everything, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. And also I've got some different types of styrofoam on there as well that I beat up with rocks. I actually textured that with Mod Podge and glue. Yeah, I've heard people doing the water thing where they spritz it and let it sit. I've never had that issue or never had that thought to do it that way. But man, anytime I get the ones here from the dollar store, the paper just does not want to let go. It just, you peel, especially that brand, but that's all they carry. And I'm not going to drive all the way to Michael's to pick up like a different foam board or anything, or drive to the other dollar store. So I work with what I've got, and yeah, just using that hair dryer made all the difference. Took what was an hour to 20 minutes, and I was so blown away by the fact that it worked that well. Where'd you go, bud? Oh, there, you're over there. I don't want to run over your tail or anything. And I'm using the black to really, you know, so I can spot the contrast of the gaps in the paint. But you can see, as if I just do this, all those white spots that are left there are all indentations and recesses created by the foil ball and actual pieces of brick that I grabbed out of my garden that weren't frozen completely to the ground. I was outside at like 8 o'clock at night with a flashlight. You know, in the summer that wouldn't be an issue. It'd still be sunny out. But it was 8 o'clock at night, and I'm out there looking for stones in my driveway. And I have a crushed stone driveway on one side, but it was just frozen. excuse me, the young Duke would like to be let out in order to be asked back in a second. What, sir? You going out? Go out there and see your brother and sister? Goodbye. Love you. Ah, the life of a cat owner. Honestly, I'm just a glorified servant, but that's okay. They deserve it. And so, yeah, the chip brush is really good for this task because you can get deep into those recesses and ravines and really pack the paint in there so that when you start to dry brush, you're going to make those shadows appear. And also, when we add some Mod Podge to this, the shininess of some of the semi-gloss will stay in some of those recesses, so it'll look a little bit like a moisture almost. And just really help catch light, right? Not huge into the toy photography, but I know for like prop making and stuff, you want things to look good through a lens. And I know through like world building, when I photograph my stuff or show videos of it, I want it to look nice. And that's a great way. And like I said, you could do this like one-to-one if you wanted to make a fake brick wall for a backdrop for your YouTube videos or your Instagram videos or even Halloween costume photos. Either pick up a full-size sheet of foam insulation and do the same thing, beat the piss out of it with a brick or a foil ball, or you can do dollar store sheets. Pick up, let's say 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 of them for $8. Spend the time, peel them, paint them, dry brush them, get them put up on a wall, and you've got like a cool stone wall. You could go as complicated, as complex as you want, or you could go as easy as you want. It's up to you. I've got, you guys have seen, I've done some different layering over there on the stone walls. Similar pattern to this because I want it to be that same type of stone look, but you've got options. And again, it's a really cheap, low cost, high value, which is kind of what this year I want to be doing with this channel, is to show you guys that we don't need to spend a fortune to do these. You can. If you got it and you can and you do, hats off. I mean, no harm against you, but also we do this as inexpensively as we can. We got more money for toys later, so just consider that. And these skills that I'm sharing with you, I've learned through other people teaching me and years of doing, not just like I did model trains with my grandfather, but I also used to do haunted houses for charity, and I used to work at haunted houses, and then I started working to help set them up because I was like, yeah, I love hanging out with these freaks. Like, haunted house people are crazy. I love them. They are awesome little weirdos. Some of the nicest, kindest people you ever meet, especially because a lot of the haunted houses are for charity. So they love like helping people and they love scaring people. But they're crazy. But you learn all kinds of cool tips and tricks. I used to do a lot of volunteer work and got hooked up with some really great artists who actually helped me believe in myself as an artist and helped me understand that I was an artist and that I could pursue art and not be alone. And yeah, so I've learned all kinds of tips and tricks, sharing with you guys. Again, this can be used for one-to-one large scale, or it can be used for this type of scale. Hell, you could do the same layout and use this for your tabletop train. You could use this for your model railroad. It's nothing. This is literally one of the easiest projects to do. Foam sheet, peel the foam, beat the hell out of it with a rock or some, like, again, I'll show you. I don't know how well this is going to pick up on the camera because the white balance, but we're going to see. You just take the foam ball and roll it. And you can stop and really dig in a spot or scratch, then go over that scratch. Make sure you rotate the ball so you don't get repeating patterns. And then you've got that really, really deep recessed area on there. And here again, I'll show you. We really created a good deep surface there. And we'll fill that in with paint and we'll dry brush over it and it'll really pop. Don't sleep on adding features. Yep. Yep. Like I was telling them earlier, I don't know if you were here for that, Dead Man, but I've started doing this one with hot glue, or not hot glue, Jesus Christ, with a glue stick, just a regular extra strength craft glue stick, and first you drop it in paint. That's real important. But essentially, you just stipple it, let it get about halfway dry, and then come back in and hit it again, and it creates these little tiny peaks, and then it sets and cures, and it paints up and adds like it's not even like a stony texture. It's almost like a really rough metal, like copper that's been beat the piss out of with a hammer. I think it adds something. So I've been doing that on certain things and I really like it. But you're not wrong. Baking soda, sand. I've seen people use drywall powder, plaster of Paris. I don't like to do materials that cure by absorbing moisture because that means your mixture hardens up quicker. So I like baking soda. I actually have a thing of baking soda right there that I use for super glue and sprinkling. But that is a very good tip. I've seen people use actual dirt. They'll sieve it. They have a special sieve that they keep away from their food. I hope you keep your outside dirt playing with fucking tools. But just like a baker's sieve, a flour sieve, and they'll do it on a sheet pan, stick it in the oven at 200 degrees for like an hour, I guess, just to kill all the bacteria and germs, because you don't want, number one, you don't want it to mold, right, because it's going to get wet with the paint and everything, and then dry, and there can be all kinds of gross things in there. And number two, it just kills anything, so if there's bacteria or whatever, it takes care of it. And you can hear Storm trying to get back in the door. I think he gets confused because he has a little tiny cat door next to the door right next to this room, so he can go into his cat room, and they can have their privacy, their food's in there, their water fountain, their restrooms, their little play equipment, and he can go in and out of there whenever he chooses. And I leave my sleeping room, I leave that open too, and all the other rooms in the house are open except for this one. And I think he's just like, why can't I be in there all the time, Papa? And so he stands at the door and like scratches right where the cat door would be. You do have some of those glue sticks. I sent you on a glue stick journey. Remember when you forgot the glue sticks? What's up, Aunt? Aunt, I think you should regale the people of the chat with your experiences today of your mystery coating on your figures. Yep, Chantoni's in the chat, guys. And honestly, like, if you got kids, I know some of you guys steal your wife's sifter. Oh, you stole your wife's sifter. I didn't see anything. Patch and paint spackle. Yep. Spackle is great for stone walls. That's really the only thing I've ever used spackle for, and also sealing the ends of wood that I want to look just like, really nice polished, not polished, but like Jersey barrier type concrete, right? You want that smooth. So I do that. I do the patch, put that down, and then give it a light sand once it turns and paint over that. But that's a good one as well. You can add a lot of texture. We used it as a panic filler on some helmets for a music video for a friend of mine. They got some 3D printed props. The props got finished. They arrived. They were ready to shoot. Like, it was like last minute it arrived. I got a phone call and they were like, hey, we fucking need help fixing these helmets. They kind of sucked. They really didn't prep them for paint. So we got a hold of helmets, sanded them down with some 220 grit, maybe, sandpaper. just to clear the paint over. Gave a skim coat of the filler, and then polished it with some sandpaper after it dried, and sealed it with clear coat. Let it bake under a heat gun that I like fucking zip tied. We zip tied the heat gun to like an arm over top of them, and then when it was dry enough, we just sprayed it up, let it cure again, and they used it for the video, and it was good enough on camera. But because, you know, people film with even a fucking iPhone that I've got here can film in 4K now, so you're gonna see those details. But between the lighting and the fog machine and the gloss coat that we put on, we were able to like fool the music video. And yeah, I didn't get a credit for that. But yeah, that stuff's a lifesaver too. And caulk, liquid nails. I've seen people do liquid nails on a chip brush and get a bunch of like peaks and stuff. Mod Podge with sand mixed into it. That whole table back there, that one there, that whole surface is two different types of, not the cork right here, but the main big table is two types of student acrylic semi-gloss or matte Mod Podge. It's fucking semi-gloss. The super matte is actually matte. I digress. But matte Mod Podge, water, and I put it on with a paint roller and put baking soda down, and then did another coat with the paint roller, and just the fluffiness of the paint roller mixed with everything made a nice like textured surface, but it was still flat enough so the figures could stand. So that was my primary concern. Storm, I can hear you outside the door, little man. You hear this? Hey. Well, come on. Instead of standing there looking handsome, walk your happy butt in here. Watch your tail. Go on. You want to say hi to the audience again? He's like, I want to be famous. Come on, Dad. Put me in. Say hello. Hello. I'm the Duke of Castle Famine. How are you? How are you all? Watch your feet, buddy. Good boy. Sit down. The paint's wet, buddy. Sit down. Good boy. What's up, Tone? It is just, we're having some foam fun here at Castle Famine. Oh, Stormy Storm. It's like, I don't know what you're doing, but it sure sounds interesting to my cat ears. There we go. So you guys have some idea of what I'm doing while Storm is looking handsome in the chat. And if you're new to the channel, I am Famine from Famine Studios. That there's Storm, aka Storm Shadow, aka the Duke of Famine Studios. And yeah, we do world building, toy customizing, one-to-one scale prop making here on the channel. Lately I've been really trying to show you guys how to do it affordably and sustainably by using recycled products and repurposing things. But if you'd like that, stick around, hit the like button, subscribe. We got a pretty great community here. And you'll see a lot of the regulars, the same folks in the chat, and it's great. Everybody has a pretty good rapport with each other, and we're happy to have you. Except for that one guy, Dave. He knows what he did. Find you some acetone. Like and share. Yeah, you can share it. You could, if you like it, you definitely can share it. If you don't like it, you can click the share button and actually give it to people you don't like. Nail polish remover has acetone in it. What are you using it for? Because depending on that, it'll determine what you want. There may be somebody in the chat that's more in tune with this than I am, but I am always wary of using solvents. I don't know if it's because I use them a lot for a job, and I've seen what they can do to, like, fucking some of the scariest paints in the world that have polymers and complex molecular chains, as it were. I don't fuck around too much with acetone unless I need to, and it's usually for metal work. Oh, guess it would come out if I actually opened up the lid. There we go. Slight raised design on these blocky Star Wars figures that you don't want. Sand it. Use a fine grit nail file. Because I don't know what type of plastic Blockies uses, but it could be dissolved by acetone, and you don't want that. Unless you're really into, like, melting figures, like some type of fucking Sid from Toy Story, then far be it for me to stop you. But also, that shit's not good for your kidneys or your liver. And you got little kitties, you know? You got Derek to take care of. So. Huh, Storm. He's like, that's half the reason my dad uses these acrylic water washable non-toxic paints. Non-toxic to humans, and he won't let me eat it, so I can't find out if it's toxic to cats. Yeah. Huh, bud. With your little crooked whiskers. Yeah. Like I said, give it a few weeks of watching. We'll get you started with something like this. Have you doing painting, and, you know, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have you doing full backdrops. You know? Drop a, hi, Derek. Drop a like in the chat if you you want Storm to go ahead and you know, start doing these projects too. Oh, buddy. Yeah, Chief? And I will rotate this. I'm just... You guys know how I do when I start blocking in. I'm all over the fucking map. Your cat is Derek. He's a good boy. It is a good name. How we doing, Gabba? Welcome, welcome. You have a cat named Charlie? Hi, Charlie. This is Storm. He's being a good boy. There is so much detail in this that this thing picked up just by doing the foil ball. That's what I love about foam. And I know a lot of people really swear up, down, and backwards about wood, which is why this is backed by wood. There's, move my big fucking egg of a head out of the way. There's wood there. It'll be attached to it. I'll use liquid nails when this guy's not in the room. Let it dry. Yeah, we'll have a nice backdrop. And we'll continue. I know for sure there's going to be a couple more panels that we'll be able to do. There's going to be some doorways and whatnot, but this is just the first of the series. Right, so here you go, Storm. We want to make sure you're still in the camera shot, Storm. You're being a star today. Oh, thank you, Tone. Started putting a puzzle together tonight with Britt. Luke and Leia were really engaged with the project. There you go. You're gonna wake up to missing puzzle pieces is what's gonna happen. Thank you, thank you. Storm, we'll have to use that. We'll have to go get you a... Sir, could you not eat the paintbrushes? Hey. Excuse me. That's coming out of your paycheck. You see this? It's coming out of your check. I will call your union supervisor. I will absolutely call your union lead about this. I'm calling your union rep. You cannot eat paintbrushes. See, Storm, I was going to take that $5 and get you some treats, some hairball treats. And then you're over there eating a paintbrush, which probably contributes to the hairball treats. So here we are. What's that? Now that's a fucking beard. Oh, this thing? Or are you talking about the boy? His, Storm. Where are you going? There's nowhere to go. It's a straight drop. What are you doing, bud? It's like you know the camera's on, so you're hamming it up and being a delinquent. His salary is he gets free room and board, access to free health care, he only works if he wants to, and he's got a really good retirement plan. There you go. Look at him acting all, look at him pout. Look at this. You drama cat. You little dramatic boy. You gonna do some sleepies, buddy? You take your nap, okay? But I found the reason for the box there is that I don't... Clearly, I'm a fucking pushover, right? You see the cat in the studio, but the cats are not allowed in the studio. So, him and his sister, Daisy, she's another long-hair Siamese. If they're inside of the box, they stay out of trouble. They don't climb over the other stuff. They don't jump up on the shelves. They don't knock shit over. If they get out of the box and they start to wander, I have to keep an eye on them. It takes me away from this. Storm will sleep under my feet sometimes when Daisy's in the cardboard box, but he will jump up there and gimmick and knock stuff over because he weighs 16 pounds. I guess he used to weigh like 24 pounds, so he's lost a really good chunk of weight. He's a good, healthy boy now, and he's very active, but he sits in the box, keeps to himself, he's contained, he's being a good boy. So we like Storm in a crate. Huh, Storm? Huh, buddies? You doing good? Now, they do have another brother, Quinn, who's a regular domestic short-haired cat, and he's just hell on earth when it comes in here. He doesn't respect any authority. He doesn't play by the rules. He's a loose cannon, and so he isn't allowed in here at all. He'll stroll in the room, he'll look around, and he'll listen to me to leave. But if he gets in here to like play, he's out of his mind. And he will jump up and knock things over and swat things and pick figures up like he's a kaiju. So while it is immeasurably cute, and you know, if I didn't work hard to custom every figure on the table, customize, I should say, if I didn't work hard to customize every figure in some sort of way, and I didn't work on customizing all these buildings and vehicles and things, I might let him walk through it once or twice. But because of all this is, essentially it's all bespoke work that I've done, and it is art. You know, I don't want him to break it, and also there's little pieces. I don't want him to swallow it and choke. He's just a little guy. He's my boy, and he's the prince of Castle Famine. And you can see Kenny's mom was nice enough to send over a box of styrofoam and foam pieces and different scraps that I've been putting to use on these things. So, thanks, Ma. Hey, thanks for watching the replay. What's up, Dystopian? Yeah, the 1, 2, 3 blocks are just to keep this thing steady because this foam is so thin. As I start painting it, it makes it easier to move. So the 1, 2, 3 blocks are just pinning that down and making it heavy enough to where I don't have to worry so much about movement. What I do have to worry about is all this goddamn cat hair. This I just pulled it. Excuse me. I'm dying. I just pulled the shirt out of the wash, out of the dryer. It was fine. I handled this maniac for a few minutes, covered in it. But them's the ropes when you guys such a handsome bud. Huh, buddies? Yeah, you good boy. I love you. Yeah, I'm a little owl there. You covered the puzzle. Oh, Tone, you covered the puzzle. That's smart. I would try and cover the puzzle, but him and his sister, Mr. Storm here, and his sister are excellent at opening things. So much so that I've actually had to not only put a slide lock on certain doors, but I have to wire the pantry shut, with garden wire, because him and his sister have figured out how to open the pantry, not by pulling it open, but by slamming it until it pops loose. It's where the cat food is, and the cat treats. So I had to put the cat treats in the freezer. Can't put the fucking bag of cat food, even in the tub, the seal, they know where it's from. Even though they have unconditional food, they have a bowl of kibble. They get wet food on occasion. They're taken care of. They never run out. When they do run out, if it runs out, it gets filled immediately. But they're just... And Daisy's figured out the living room cabinets. The way to get those open is to get the boys to fight near them. And when they bump into them, it's strong enough to release the magnetic locks. And then she goes over and hooks her paw and opens it up and goes inside. So, we ain't doing any puzzles here at Castle Hammond in the foreseeable future. And I keep all the itty-bitty projects contained in here because of delinquency like that. This may be the very end of this black container of paint here, I think. I think we may have to switch over to licorice soon. This is inappropriate. That's going to wind up on Reddit. Yeah, that's all done. And we're drinking Bellevue Blackberry Seltzer today. I think Bjorn's up to something on his project tonight. Anybody else working on anything fun? Anything special in the works for your projects, guys? Switching to licorice. Photos for your finished series custom. Focus was off. Working on the workspace. You're taking apart some electronics. Parts for video uploads, hell yeah. Yes, this again. First coat of paint on an X-Wing. Pieces are prepped to paint them tomorrow. Too cold tonight. Nice. All right, what are you going to paint them outside, Bjorn, or just cold in the house and you don't feel like doing it? Because, been there. I just wet this brush with some paint water to activate a lot of the paint that's soaked into this brush. Just so we get it out of there. So we don't want to waste paint before we switch to another color. And by God, it's free. Messing with your acid rain figures. Tell them your secrets. Famine does not listen to me about making rocks from a guy that made lots of rocks. You told me to break into the pet store and steal terrarium pieces. I'm not going to steal the terrarium pieces. And I'm also not going to make New Zealand disappear. Going to do both. And it truly does not matter, but I'm just kind of half-ass blending this licorice in with the matte black, even though it's matte licorice, and they're just quite goddamn simply 99% the same color with a little more saturation in the licorice. But again, we want to get in all those recesses that we made with the fucking aluminum foil ball and the other rock. We actually had Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson come and beat this up, so there was just a lot of rock-on-rock action. I think for me that would be the ultimate, like, haha, I'm going to make a funny meme thing, is if I could get The Rock to do a video about making rocks. Or something to, like, I would just be a happy little nerd. You'd be like, oh shit, it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Hey, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, what are you doing? And then he'd go, it doesn't matter what The Rock is doing. And he'd be making rocks. And that, in my brain, is the funniest thing on planet Earth. Maybe not to you. Maybe not to your families. But to me, very funny. Okay. Now we just do a little rearranging here. Let that dry. And I can already see some spots where I'm going to need to put more paint into those recesses, but again, this is why we do it. Geology professor, Professor Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or the Rock Professor of Geology. There is some recesses on this piece, let me tell you. Rock making rocks while listening to rock while he sits in a rocking chair. Hey, that volcano that was going off in Hawaii yesterday and today, did that finally just like go, or I haven't heard any news about it? An Italian volcano blew. Well, fuck. The Earth is tired of. It's all right, part of that same geothermal area, though. That makes sense. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Put my paintbrush down and I went and got higher. Adam, the last, what were they? They were the KB Toys Jurassic Park figures that were going to be all exclusive and everything, and they were like the last gasps that Hasbro was putting out of the original molds. Were those human beings from the Congo? Were they repacks from the Congo line, or were they like GI Joes or something? JP3. No, it was Hasbro. Repaint JP3 military men and divers. Okay. No, I was thinking about the ones where they had the repack of the bull, and that was like a KB Toys exclusive. I don't know. It's been ages. For whatever reason, that just popped into my head, and I couldn't remember if they were those. Kenner molds packed with JP3 humans. Okay, so they were Hasbro produced figures, though. Military in general. Yeah, Fallout's pretty great. I would really, like we were talking about on WMC on Friday, I'd love for someone like Joy Toy to go ahead and get their hands on the Fallout license for us for the 1/18 scale. But who knows? Spin-off G.I. Joe, guys. See? All right. See, I knew I wasn't crazy. I'm going to mute you guys for a second and blow my nose. There he is. There I am. But yeah. Yeah, I would lose all my money to, well, I wouldn't lose all my money, but I would lose a good portion of money to them because they put value in with their figures, so which was a big talking point there. She's a squirter. All right, there we go. Carno Stego supposed to come out because I've seen some of the, like, didn't some of the ones, the GI Joe Jurassic crossovers, like get, like, the vehicles got released. I've seen some on eBay, and I was kind of perplexed at those, but you know, it's been a long time since I've been tied to that JP Toys website there, so I didn't go in and look. You know, you don't want to go in too deep. Revisit your old stomping grounds. See somebody using your avatar picture, and you want to rough them up. They got dumped in some factory. They were on the Evergreen ship that got stuck. Remember that? Remember when the whole fucking country and a large part of the world, like, shut down because that goddamn boat got stuck? Boy, that was a good time as a nation where we all came together and watched a boat move back and forth by an inch. Some guy running a backhoe just doing his damnedest. What a time to be alive that was. Austin Powers parking, yeah, exactly. He was doing the Austin Powers 738-point turn. Was that 2022? That was, which was only last year, and I'll have no one convince me otherwise. We gotta thin this black paint down a little bit to get it into the resources. The resources here, the recesses. Jesus, your boy's fumbling with the words tonight, guys. He's falling apart. Now's the time. He's like Dementia Don up there on the stage. Except they'll call him Dinosaur Don. Politics are really boring. We hated Star Wars because it was boring. Words are hard. See, again, I'm a slut for Star Wars. I'm easy. If it's Star Wars, I'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, it's just not for me. It's one of them things like the kid shows and stuff. Not for me. I don't care. There are certain things I didn't like about the sequels, but I like them. They got some cool shit. My name is not Star Wars Theory. I do know, guys, this is the future of AI. Forget people. This AI is incredible. This is better than anything that George Lucas ever made. This is just, oh my God, if you don't see the potential in this, and you don't even need to pay people, this is amazing. We get this for free. Sorry, I recently saw him stroking his virtual phallus about an AI Star Wars movie that somebody dumped on him that he was trying to make everybody watch on his channel, and even his usual supporters are like, dude, you're out of your goddamn gourd. At this point, him calling himself Star Wars anything, with the way that he hates it, is like, would be like me calling myself police something. Like, I don't get it. That guy would be like, yeah, the asshole theory. That would be like the guy at, somebody recently got divorced, and they're just the friend that, like, keeps bringing up the divorced girl. Like, man, she was such a bitch. I always hated her, man. I warned you. She was such a bitch. And blah, 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 blah. This guy's just fucking, whatever their reason for the divorce was, doesn't even matter if he was in the wrong. He's trying to get over it or whatever, and his friend just keeps fucking bringing it up. It's like, if you don't like it, stop talking about it. Star Wars theory. And I can't tell you, that's one thing I wish YouTube would get their shit together with the algorithm, is there are plenty of channels and plenty of, like, things that I've marked off as, like, I don't want to see this, right? We curate our feed. And there are other channels that just content farm off of those and make videos and stuff, but it's like, if I tell you 900 friggin' times that I don't want to see Joe Rogan or Bill Maher or whatever on my feed, and you continue to feed me that, like, why doesn't the AI recognize that? Where's your fancy technology there that you guys boast about? Like, that should be the thing that it picks up on, not, oh, somebody used AI to generate this thumbnail, so we have to put it in a certain algorithm. Like, I don't like that to begin with, but also that's a waste of thinking power, as it were, in quotation marks. And I say thinking because we know what it is. It's like, goddamn, if I don't want to see Alvin and the Chipmunks in my feed, and I select don't want to see this, don't recommend me Alvin and the Chipmunks, and then 2 days later I get Joe's Alvin and the Chipmunks reaction videos, that doesn't mean I wanted to see the goddamn reactions. It means I didn't want anything to do with Alvin and the Chipmunks. Alvin, Simon, or Theodore. Or Dave. Especially Dave. He knows what he did. They were kids, Dave. They were just goddamn kids. Well, Bjorn, it's kind of like, I know it's a kind of a lost analogy on our crowd, but it's like sports analysis and stuff. It's like people want to see other people watch the thing and then reach the same opinions that they have, or reach similar opinions so they can feel like they were right. I mean, I won't lie to you. There's times where I'll watch one of those, like, things missed, or, first time seeing, like, so-and-so's first time listening to the White Stripes, or, like, things like that. Like, those are fascinating to me. But yeah, like, reaction channels to hate watching things, zero interest. Like, I already know that Adam's not going to like the next Jurassic Park movie, so I'm not going to go to his house and watch him watch the Jurassic Park movie and watch him react. Which is funny with Adam, because I, like, 99% of the time I can nail what Adam's going to like or dislike about something, and then he'll come out of nowhere and surprise me with something that I never would have noticed. I'll be like, huh, all right. He's just an ever-changing bird who surprises me from time to time. Oh, what's this jackass saying? I don't want to hear his voice. Not you, Adam. There's a jackass on my television. What's the diorama about? It is a 1/18th science fiction world set loosely in my own canon of it's a planet and there's really no way on or off. You can get up into the atmosphere, you can get to the outside space, but somehow the people that wind up there always wind up back. And it's a cross of multiple franchises. I have Marvel. I've modified some of my own characters. Everything I've done, like I said, is custom. Like every figure that's on there, including troopers and stuff, they get all they get all customized and modified. And it's a great way to showcase my toy art, and also, you know, it's like, kind of like a mental health project for me. It's like a good way to have something that I can continuously work on, that can evolve, that I can focus on and put my creative energy into, that combines my love of toys and also my, you know, desire to make and create. And yeah, this will also be part of my reptile enclosure. I will be scrambling about on the sun rocks earlier, or later. Earlier. What the fuck is wrong with me? Vegas fan, sir. Did you? You know, hog-nosed snake's gonna love his natural environment. I am actually Piggy the Hog-Nosed Snake. That was my stage name. Making his way to the stage, Piggy the Hog-Nosed Snake. And then Spice Girls start playing, and I come out and do my number. But this part of the city is like a stretch of space that over the years people have started to use it and develop on their own, because there's no like centralized government, and they've turned it into a kind of a slum slash marketplace. Are there Italian or Jewish mothers arguing in your background? No, unfortunately. It's that asshole from New York City with the bad spray tan and a news reporter trying to get a straight answer out of him, I think. I'm not paying attention to it because I'm looking for a specific item in the news and I'm waiting for it to pop up on the screen. But yes, Adam will say things completely fucking out of the blue that make me spit out my beverage. Oh, good water. We're almost done with the layer of black and licorice here. And then we'll do a very heavy dry brush of a brown. And then we'll do brown first, then we'll start working on our grays and our washes. Well, let me finish these little, I got one little strip of bricks left to do here before we start building up some pretty color layers. There we go. And we will be doing some dirty paint water washes to unify and tie these colors together, so that'll be fun. It'll be fun for everyone. But all these like brickworks and things like that are ruins that people don't really fuss with. They may rest things on it or things like that, but by and large they just use the materials that they find coming in through the portals, and people that wind up on with ships that bring them in for trade and things like that, people that go out scavenging on this planet, because Gimmick is just a city within the planet. There are other cities, and there is further lore for that I haven't explored yet and haven't really built things for. That will come in time, but yeah, buddy. Get that paint all in there. The reason why I'm using a lot of the paint water for this part is because there's so many recesses on this brickwork that I did. I'm really like jamming the bristles in there to get the paint and the water in the deep recesses so that there's pigment in there. So when I do the dry brushing and I do the painting of the bricks, we don't see any of the pink insulation. So it helps with that suspension of disbelief. We want it to look real. We want to think that that's real bricks from far away. And even if we get a little close, which sometimes you do. Sometimes you get right up in there, like swimwear. Then you want to take a look at things, and yeah. And it also helps us get into all the cracks and recesses, so that we make sure that there's shadows in places where maybe the dry brush isn't going to reach. And inside of this, I'm painting this because, again, I don't know if I'm going to put like a tea light thing in here, or if I'm going to put, maybe I'll put a Bluetooth speaker in there or something. Who the hell knows? But I do know that I want there to be no foam visible. So I'm getting in here and using this chip brush to give me just as much coverage as I can in those spaces to really avoid color showing from the original foam. There we go. Let's see if we get all that in there. Come on. And all the ravines. Get in there. There we are. All right. So now I'm going to use the same chip brush, but I am going to try and get the majority of the black paint out of here as I can. And we're going to cheat real quick. We're going to cheat a bit. I'm going to blast this with a hairdryer, so I'm going to mute you guys for a second. Area bald man uses hairdryer incorrectly. News at 11. Hi, Storm. I do see a couple of spots that I missed, so I'm going to take care of those real quick. Use this brush. The tops of these don't matter so much because they're going to have something on top of it, but still, I am me, so take care of that. You okay, Storm? You looking out your little fortress, buddy? Watching me work? You good boy. Okay. All right. There we go. So now we're going to do a, like I said, we're going to go ahead and start a darker brown dry brush on here. And we're going to add some blues, some purples. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating to watch. We'll start with Burnt Umber, Liquitex. This paper towel is going to be my palette. Again, this is going to be a heavier dry brush than you'd usually see. Nearly 4 a.m., so you're going to catch the replay. All right, my friend, thank you for being here. Be well, get some sleep or start your day, whatever it is that you intend on doing. I always appreciate you being here. I'm going to try and keep brush strokes in one direction. Like everything's going to be going vertical instead of horizontal. And that'll help. I think that'll help with the washes as they go on. It'll really help tie everything together nicely. You see some of these spots where I do that like kind of back and forth. I'm kind of like feathering in as I move down some of the browns into the deeper recesses just to help build up that field of depth. And the visual representation of the different types of stone that have compacted over the centuries and eons to make this rock face that has been sheared by what species we don't know. Was it naturally formed like this, or was it hand-hewn? The rough marks in the material would indicate that possibly it was worked on by a civilization, but there are no real answers. Whenever you hear that voice, you know Famine recognizes that his own lore sounds kind of like funny bullshit from, like, you know, Ancient Aliens, but also it's my lore, so. And as I've said before, the reason that I do these colors and I do them layer by layer by layer instead of just like a primary and a shadow is I get the type of effect I want also, but like the people that I've learned to paint from, one of them that I've really paid attention to and learned from his tutorials and teaching people and talking about like his prop work and set design and everything is Frank Ippolito. And see that wooden wall behind me? It's gonna go there. So it'll be in there on the back wall. And there will be another panel that's gonna get built, but I just ran out of those plywood sheets. But yeah, Frank Ippolito, he has his own production company. He's worked on, if you can think of it, he's worked on it. I believe the most recent work that's been on television is, or in theaters, has been on the Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. He did all the frozen people and the frozen horses around the ship. But he was explaining that when you're doing weathering like this and you use your browns, or not weathering, but like creating natural looks, is to sneak up on things. Do it in layers of varying colors, gradually build up. You don't need to get right there because then you're going to get more depth, more value, color value, and things like that. So that is why I tend to do these things this way. And if they have success, and people at, I believe his studio is now called Thingery in Los Angeles, or just outside of Los Angeles, they have success and they work on movies and set design and special effects for all sorts of projects and studios, then I think that there's something to take away from that. And one of them is sneaking up on things, and that's what I like to do. I like to sneak up on what I want it to look like, and then this way, there's less of a chance for me to make a mistake in what I'm doing, right? If I'm in control and I'm gradually walking up to it. Night, Bjorn. Oh, Tone's going to bed. Okay. Sneaky, sneaky. Yes, Frank was on Face Off. Thanks, Tone. Thank you for the super chat. Storm is likely to enjoy that as treats that he'll probably share with his brother and sister. Maybe, if they're good. Huh, Storm. But I do try and learn, and I try and pay attention, and like, if you want to do this stuff, you want to learn from somebody other than Famine, which I can't blame you. But do the Stan Winston school, even for a year. Wait until their holiday sale, or wait until, you know, some of their other sales. They literally do half off, plus you get one. Pardon me, I had to blow my nose again. Excuse me. But they'll do, around Christmas time, they do buy one and you get two, and it's also half off for the price of one. So that's a really fucking good value. And by I say get two, is like you can gift your other subscription to somebody. And that's really cool. You could learn from Site C. You could learn from Adam. I don't know what Adam's rates are, but Adam does have a wealth of knowledge. Adam is one of the first customizers that I like paid attention to and tried to steal ideas from, so I could learn, expand my own empire, and then challenge him for the throne. Then I realized I'm an adult and I can buy my own chair, so I don't need to try and take Adam's chair. So now Adam's got his own chair and I've got my chair. But as you can see, it's starting to pick up that subtle brown, and I'm going a little bit heavier in spots. You can use reference pictures if you want to. I used to be really big on like having a book open or a tablet open with a picture or whatever. But for natural things like this, like I can remember what a rock looks like. I can remember how I want it to be. And now I can visualize those steps to get there. And I can see it start to appear in front of me. And especially since I'm like not doing a one-to-one, like, oh, I'm trying to paint this stone to look like that rock face in this desert. I don't need to have that out in front of me. But if you need one, if you want one, by all means. You don't have to follow my methods. You can follow other people's methods. I just share these things with you guys. I do my damnedest not to, I do my damnedest not to gatekeep this stuff. I like to share my art methods. I don't like to, you see a lot of old timers who are like, God, this is going to sound so fucking corny and cheesy and catty, but I'll say it. It's like they're not even famous. They're not anybody. They're just somebody who happens to be good at that thing. So maybe they're like popular in their own little subsection of the internet or subculture of whatever it is they're doing. But they'll like keep these secrets and gatekeep these art crafts that are, or art skills that are otherwise like, it's not serving them anything. They're not making their grand fortune off of it. And they just won't tell you things. And where I don't think there's a single technique where I'm like, I won't share that with you. You know? So I like to talk about it and talk about my methods and how I've adapted and evolved. And like this painting in one direction and really trying to like, you'll see I'll start to go like this and then correct myself. Because I've learned by watching others and also my own methods that if I do it all in one way, you can easily replicate it, and you will, if you work in one direction and you put everything on in one direction, you have a lot more control over what you're doing. So that's why I'll do that. Adam says if you want good rocks that aren't the type of rock, this type of rocks, he recommends Bondo coating foam or taxidermy fish filler putty over your foam. And the fish filler you can add paint to for base colors. And he would add sand, gravel, and stuff to it as well. Human hair. Remember when you had access to that barber shop? And that mutant who just kept growing hair. Every time you shave them, they grow a whole new coat. Weird. But again, yeah, like that's a tip that I learned. That's a technique that I do. I don't know anybody in particular else who does that, where they're like really strict about the direction that they're doing their brushing in. It's just something that I've learned that helps me do what I'm doing and get the effect that I'm doing. And if you're watching me, maybe you're learning how to do these things, or maybe you're learning how not to do them. You're like watching me going, absolutely not. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Which is fair. You will often hear me, if you're ever on a gig with me where we're doing prop work or large scale build or something, or probably on these lives, especially the late night ones, it's like, for me, it's like Indiana Jones. I'm making this up as I go along. So some of this stuff is truly like I am making it up as I go, but this is one of those skills that I've learned and started to implement in my repertoire. Tore apart a taxidermy passenger pigeon mount base from 1800s that was plaster cloth wrapped around old dried weeds and arsenic. If you want a Victorian method for rocks, you would take the poison and wrap it. You would make sure that it was pulverized, so if anybody unwrapped your work, they would breathe in a heavy dose of the poison and be fouled and killed, and they would never share secrets. A co-worker of mine at an old gig, he was a much older gentleman, cool as hell though, really cool guy. His father used to use asbestos to make mountains on their model trains, and and I was looking into that, and yeah, that was popular, was to use regular plain old sheets of asbestos materials that they would fluff up and then cover as mountains. And then when you were tearing these old model trains and stuff apart, you know, when people are taking over Dad's house and like cleaning out the basement and stuff like that, or the attic or whatever, the train room, you'd just be unleashing this fucking asbestos everywhere. Because back then they didn't know it was as hazardous, and it would have this mesothelioma long-term ruin your life effects. Asbestos was snow in the Four Seasons. Yep. Asbestos was used in The Wizard of Oz. They blew that shit around on set for that, too. In all the old Christmas movies, like, that's what was the snow. Shredded paper and asbestos. Like, all these Hollywood people were all hopped up on fucking Quaaludes and stuff anyway. But like, they didn't know. Or maybe they did. Maybe somebody knew. I don't know. They just never made it seem like they were cognizantly aware that they were actively killing themselves with that shit or ruining their future health. And I'm gonna do a little bit heavier on the brown here because I know this is gonna be some lighter colors. This big rectangle, the back block, it's gonna be much brighter in color. So I want that brown to be a little bit more apparent. So we'll have the shadow line there of the black because that's there in the crack. Ah, I'm a poet. And then the brown, and it'll help create a really good contrast between the two types of stone. At least that's what I'm visualizing in my head. So that's why I'm going to spend a little more time just slap the base. Me slap the base one time, putting the paint on the thing. Oh. Eh. Okay, that's nicely built up there. You missed that part. Which part? This is the wall. The table. The table's already there, bud. Table's been there the whole time. It's already got the texture and everything on it. See it back there. So this is going to be a wall, and this is the bottom, so it'll, you know, be stood up, and you won't be able to see it that way if I stand it up. But there is a method to this madness. Let's get over here. I think we can load up a little more paint over here. Make that section a little more prominent. Put your trophy sheets on it. You're gonna hit the sheets. You're riggedy wrecked. Have a good sleep, man. Feel better in the morning. Or else. Alright guys, now that he's gone, I'm gonna take the replay down before he comes back. That way he can never see the end of this. He'll never know what the finished wall looks like. Boone and Crockett Pachycephalosaur of the Wild Frontier. Alright, we're gonna switch it up here. We're gonna use a different brush. And we'll use that brush. Hi, John. For the next color, and I'm gonna grab another seltzer right quick, so give me 1 second. You stay there, buddy. Don't get any wild ideas of jumping up and exploring the wet paint there, which I know you're gonna do anyway. boy, Storm, you stayed in your spot. Good boy, Storm. Day was spent eating Captain Crunch and doing nothing. Did a little work on it. Maintenance corridor, math and measurements. What the hell is math? We're going to do a little burnt sienna next. Pick out some areas. And then we're going to evolve into our gray. So. Liquitex Basic Acrylics. Excuse me. And just a makeup brush. Load it up. Take a lot of it off. And this here is going to be dry brushing. Like old school dry brushing, just putting it on there. Building it up. That was a little wet, but we can make that, we can make it work. I'll just feather it out. The TikTok rots spent the day trying to get teenagers to use their damn brain. Yeah, teaching. I do appreciate that that my audience is largely adults who knew how to use the Dewey Decimal System. So that doesn't have anything to do with model making, but it just makes me feel better that we know how to look things up. You know? You've experienced the card catalog. You've been on the worldwides, but we lived in a world where you had to learn things. Excuse me, and research them yourself. And I know I personally do take it for granted that, you know, now I don't necessarily have to go to the library unless I want to learn things. I don't have to pull out every book that they have on a subject and sit there and go through it and scour it just for that little bit of information. But damn if I don't remember doing that. Even into my high school years. It's like if I wanted to learn about something, go to the library, and by then they had the computer lookup, but it was still the same damn system. You'd still have to find the books on the shelf and take them down and go through them and like look for the information within. We didn't have a Rupert Giles at our library, but we had some nice librarians that were very helpful. What is it with the British being librarians? They like things in order, I think. And also they like to know where things are so they can eventually take them and put them in the Museum of Natural History. Britain, give their stuff back. Fucking colonizers. But you notice there's like, you never see in in movies and television, like a cockney librarian. You know, they never, excuse me, I need you to be quiet. You never hear like, all right, and what's this then now? What's all this? What you kids doing over here making all this noise? Get the fuck out. You never hear that. Turn this way. Work a little bit this way here. And I'm just like seeing how that picks up on the camera, and I'm digging it. It's Tuesday then, here at the library. You gotta be fucking quiet, right? Otherwise, take your library card, rip it up and kick you out on your ass. Okay. And this is going to be in a corner, so I do kind of want to add a bit more to brighten this, or just give it a lot of, remember what I was saying about the 1, 2, 3 blocks and me being able to move this thing? That's why they were on there. Just give this a little more contrast so that when it is in the corner, it doesn't seem like such a dark corner. So I'll go a little bit heavier here with this makeup brush and just adding sections of this burnt sienna. Still just hitting the high points, keeping it out of the dark recesses. We want those recesses there. But I think this will help when this is up on the wall. Yeah. Well, this won't particularly be in the corner, but you'll get what I'm saying when it's all said and done. Is it gonna be in a corner or no? He just seems like he's lost all the time, like a little tin soldier that's been wound up and led on his way. Bloop. Okay. Clean that out of the brush. We just want that out of that brush best we can. Because now we're going to go concrete gray, and we're going to mix in. We're going to touch a touch of wisteria. That's going to help tie in those purples when we get there. Purples and blues. And for that, I'm going to use a piece of cardboard as my palette this time. That's lovely. Lovely wisteria. Thank you. Oh, that's okay. That needs to be shaken a little bit more. That's what we have this for. It will start to separate the container. Looks like jizz. Sorry for anybody that heard that sentence. There we go. Where's your painter spatula, fam? I don't know. It's with my oil paint stuff. In the closet. Alright. Get you guys right here. Oh yeah. Nice and soft. That's what we're looking for. I am going to break my rule here for a second and just swirl this together in this one spot because I got a couple of streaks that I didn't want. There we go. But can't tell. Oh, that's a piece of the stiff brush from when we use the tiny spatula. No, tiny spatula didn't work. Okay. That's one of the strands from the chip brush. Got it. Getting boring, it's just a rock, Robert. This rock. It's pissing me off. Ball twist. Yeah, nobody ever accused me of painting rocks as being fun, to be honest with you. Right there. But it's starting to look like a rock. Spider swing. Yeah, buddy. Adding in the wisteria color, I think was a solid move. Solid move too, not just a solid mood. Wisteria Moods. Now that's what I call paint music. Volume 3. I tell you, as somebody who didn't realize that movies could go after like 3 in a series, when Now That's What I Call Music, like, came out with volume 3 and 4 and shit like that, and they went past 3, my mind was blown. I was like, holy shit, they can do that? It's funny because certain spots of this as I'm doing it look like airbrushing. Knife pointing towards famine is giving you anxiety. Oh, this one here? There you go. That's a good point. I should have put that away. Thank you, sir. Safety third, baby. I remember that when we were on mandatory 17 hours overtime. They were like, make sure you guys are getting rest when you get home and blah 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 blah. When you're here, you really focus on just getting as many of the jobs done as you can. This, that, and nobody ever said anything about safety. And this coworker of mine I had just goes, yeah, safety third. I fucking, oh God, did I laugh. He wasn't wrong. If a company works you like that, guys, they don't give a shit about you. Nope. There we go. I guess I am going to go a little side to side on this. Just help blend it. Like I said, this looks like airbrushing unless I do this. And that's my own fault. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing with this. And that's okay. Because it's a rock. Like a rock! Remember those fucking Ford commercials? They used the Like a Rock in every single one of them for like 3 years solid. It's like the origin of the fucking Built Ford Tough campaign. These are Famine Studios hours. This is a little bit of a less glamorous part of diorama making and world building, but it's one of those necessary things, I guess, if you want it. Or you can do like Adam says, the Bondo. Mix it with fish paste, which would taste like something. Just gonna switch this around here. Oh God, he's out of control. He's just fucking flipping things around. He's knocking stuff over. He's making things look like airbrush. Just doesn't make any sense. It's like he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't think he has a clue how to paint. I think he's making this up as he goes along. Thinks he's Pablo Picasso meets Indiana Jones, and I don't like it. In the words of that little hot dog fella online, Robert, I don't like this rock. It's pissing me off. Bondo, used in closed spaces, may result in religious visions. Deep fryer with colors. Looks like this. Oh, that's so good. Hydration. All right, let's try and smooth out some of this brighter area that I've accidentally created here, which isn't the worst thing because it's just adding contrast visually. It's all layers, baby. It's all layers. A little bit better. Forces in balance. Every time I take a sip, Adam just pees a little bit. He's got a catheter hooked up to AI that measures as I take sips. It calculates about how much I've removed from the can, and it encourages the chip in his brain to emit that much urine. Processing chip sends the info back to the federales. Black budget tax dollars. They got that piss money. The piss investigation money. He was part of Project Starbladder. They said he was a mystic of star piss. Are you a Palladian star piss? See, this is starting to come out the way I want it to. This is what I'm liking, but I still got those streaks in it. Now is a good time to bring up the Cult of Zagler Piss Clown and the Wookiee Sailor. Or Wookiee Savior. Excuse me. Wookiee Piss Clown sounds like an ICP song that you can sing while you drink your Faygo soda. Oh, okay. Chocolate rain. Some stray dry while others feel the rain. Chocolate rain. Okay. Now, let's grab our favorite blue that we used on the other wall. Actually, we'll start with a little emerald. Just a couple of touches of emerald. People on the news observing all the goings on, talking about in Iran, they could see a spy drone visible. I tell you, if you can see a spy drone, it ain't a spy drone. That's just a regular drone. Now we gotta get in there with our blue. Our turquoise is already on there, so now we go with, do I want light turquoise or do I want Yeah, we'll go with this one first. It's excited. And that's Vallejo. Hear myself listening to talk to myself. That's Chaos Theory. You're not talking to yourself, you're talking to everybody. You're listening to Radio Free Famine. There we go. Now she's starting to look like the rocks on the other side. A little too heavy up top there. That's all right. We'll just take some of that off. Starting to match the other colors, which is what I needed it to do. So hell yeah, we're getting somewhere, guys. One eye. Need that. Go. Just hit it with some purple while we're done with this. And those stones will be good until I do a clear wash of water and matte Mod Podge, which will give that semi-gloss to match the other paints and really help convey just a little bit of dampness in the desert. Dampness in the Desert, the name of my next adult novel. It's an Indiana Jones fanfic. You wouldn't get it. It's a crossover. He meets Rick O'Connell from The Mummy. Evie's it's a whole thing. And when I say Eiffel Tower, you have to wonder what I'm talking about, because, you know, they're explorers and it's an adventure, but also it's a romance novel, so. No time for love, Dr. Jones. Wow. nice. And now we pick our purple. Actually, let's get the remainder of this paint right off the brush here. We'll leave a little bit in there. We put our purple on, but that's starting to look a little more sexual. Starting to look like we want it. There we go. What kind of purple is it? Oh, it's alien purple. That's right. This purple's made by the aliens. Huh. Come on. Tip's clogged. But if I squeeze too hard, it'll squirt alien purple all over. So I have to slowly work out the clog. Come on. Come on. Look at that. All right, you know, we're gonna try something. Guess that's just really heavy body pigment paint. Oh, that's all right. That works. Paint. Oh. She bursted. See, that's what happens when you squeeze too hard. Play along with that purple a little too long, and bad things happen to good people. Did that clear out? Or is that still fucking... God damn. How deep is this? How deep's your hole? How full is your hole? The old bread tie. To clear it out. Get in there. Get in there. There we go. And we opened her right up. Now she's ready to play. Here we go. You see that? That's what you need to do. Sometimes you just got to jam it in there, work it around, clear out the blockage, and resume painting. You want a resume painting. A little bit more right there. I feel like that'll tie that together. All right, that part's done. Aside from getting sealed by Mod Podge, but we'll do that very last, and I will probably just do that off camera. So let's block out our colors on here real quick. I want this to be like traditional concrete looking almost, and then that'll be some type of like tan stucco, and the bricks will be whatever color, and that'll be like some type of gray. So we've got gray, concrete gray right there. Let me block that color in real quick. Let me get this brush. Do I want to use this brush? No, I use a different. Well, I use a different brush. There we go. There we go. There we go. This piece is really going to benefit from quite a few washes of different wet colors. Just blocking my colors. Here we go. Boy, that one spot right there still got wet paint in it. That's okay. That's okay, baby. We'll get you. We'll get you there. We'll dry you right up. We gonna get you a towel and get you something warm to drink, sweetie. We'll take care of you. We'll get you all right, okay? This paint has really bad pigmentation. It's not heavy-bodied at all. But that's okay. We make it work because it's not terribly expensive and we don't mind painting just a little bit longer than usual. Besides, the whole planet's on fire. What else are we gonna do? Get ready for work in the morning? Get out of town, bud. Today I learned on YouTube, even if you're reporting a news story, you cannot show a body bag. Otherwise, they will demonetize you and take all your earnings for that video for whatever reason. I guess they can only show you the horrors. That's an oddly specific rule, you know? They're like, hey, look, if anybody's going to show you nightmare fuel, it's going to be us. And from what I understand, what's even weirder about that rule is that it's only for still imagery. So if you show like a news picture of like, you know, one of them loaded up onto a stretcher, transporting somebody or something somewhere, yeah, they can just be like, nope, F you, no coinage for you. That's ours now. We did that. Isn't that weird? But, you know, them's the ropes. Somehow I bet Adam's responsible for that rule. Something he did back in the old days. Before the Empire. Before the Dark Times. No unalived bodies and bags on YouTube. Yeah, well, that's the thing is you can show the bodies in certain contexts that I found. Like I've seen, unless this is like a brand spanking new rule that they just hit with, you can show remains and things like that at a certain level. But just for whatever reason, it seems that the bags specifically, for whatever reason, are just verboten, as the German friends would say. And I don't know why. It's a very strange, very specific rule. That's the odd part, is like it's so nuanced. Like, why? Why that, of all things that you could see on here? Like, I could see, you, listen, you can be 13 and older to be on YouTube if you play by the rules. But if you look up certain things that are, how do I want to phrase this? Like grooming. I don't mean that in the sense of like training someone to do something, but like bodily grooming and healthcare procedures and things like that, and physicals. You can look up videos of those and you will see completely unclothed adults, and it's just on here because it falls under the education category. But if you have the audacity to show a body bag for whatever reason, they will shut you down, John. by the end of this weekend, I'll be accepting your apology. If they're not convinced, I'm not convinced. We'll shut you down, John. Yeah, it's super weird. I mean, obviously, I don't I don't show any of that on my channel, so it's not something that I would run into. But it's just so goddamn oddly specific that I'm curious about it as to why, like what instance occurred. Because usually these rules all come from, they don't just pull them out of the air. Somebody somewhere ran a statistic, or it was a direct correlation to something that they were able to prove, and therefore they could censor it, or some government group paid them for whatever reason. I'm just genuinely curious, like, what damn thing happened, or who decided, hey, we're not going to put this up there anymore. You can't put that up there, or we take your money. Like, that's such a strange, oddly specific rule, right? And again, there's all sorts of horrific things on here, and for all the good that's available, and YouTube does add a tiny bit of income into my coffers, which I appreciate. And that comes directly from you guys and whatever ad revenue they decide to direct towards me from my videos. But it's like, get consistent, guys. Like, pick a lane. Do you want to be the leader of expression and storytelling, and the place where people can upload and make documentaries and things like that, and communicate with fans and tell stories, and just use your platform to make you money, give you enrichment? Or do you want to be a bunch of weirdos and blackball people for showing something that's largely unoffensive? Hi, Storm. How you doing, buddy? You getting some good CPs in over there, bud? He's like, yeah, if you'd stop talking about bodies and body bags, Papa, I'd be doing a lot better. Getting a lot better sleep. Yeah, I know. I'm going to put you guys on mute, and I'm going to blast this with a hairdryer and try and dry up some of that black, because I need to be able to continue painting this gray on here without getting black streaks in it. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but also... So I'm just going to put you on mute for a second. Nope, that's the wrong button. Turn around. Hey, there's Famine. Yep, I'm back. Like I said, I just needed that that damn wet paint there to dry up a little bit so I can continue to put on my concrete colors without getting those crazy streaks. Quiet down, stomach, you've been fed. Stormy storm. Nebula, do you strictly teach art or do you teach other classes as well? I can remember back in our school, you had to be an art teacher and another program in order to teach art. Like you had to teach, you know, a history class or a reading class or something for whatever reason. Honestly, I think that was just because the school was trying to like get as much money's worth as they could from their teachers, while us kids had to beg for money every year for music programs. Come on, kids, put on a music show, tap dance and sing for the school board so that we can get sheet music. We'll buy 20 of them, but we actually need 80 of them, but we'll make photocopies because the school will not buy 80, even though they know there are 80 kids and they know it's illegal, but they encourage it. What'd I say? I didn't say anything. We didn't have illegal sheet music. We would share. We would share those 25 amongst 80 kids. Right, right. Teach 4 Art 1 classes this semester and teach a drawing class and ceramics class. Oh. Hey, good night, Bjorn. Strictly art. That's cool. I think this like is as close to teaching as I like. I do like hands-on teaching, like when my friends come over. I've had friends come over and we'll do like prop builds or work on cosplay pieces, or they're like, hey, can you show me how to do X, Y, and Z? I think that, but I have a lot of respect for people that take time to teach and work directly with kids and things like that, because I'm fairly certain I couldn't do it. And kids are largely awful. They just, oh God. I know they're awful because I was one. And while I like to think that it was only a few years ago, it was less recently than that. But I always had a lot of love for the for art teachers and music teachers, and certainly history and like English literature, mythology, those classes. Those classes I had a lot of, those teachers specifically, because you can teach math and science. It's there. It's written right in front of you. It's on paper. You know, the information is there. It's happened, but history is there. But the events that led to it, they can be opened up to interpretation. And as a kid, you learn how to read things and learn about them and see from different points of view and different points of, you know, comprehension. Same with like reading. They teach you to use your imagination. They teach you how to work in the world around you. The arts, you know, art's everywhere. It's very important. I always appreciated that, and like, it's cool to know that your school lets you teach art. You know, they don't. You know, some schools. I'm sure you've heard the joke. How many high school football coaches are actually history teachers as well, because they make them, you know, teach another class. They have to teach a class in order to be there. Can't just teach the sports. Can't just teach phys ed. You gotta give some type of education to the kids. At least around here. Enjoyed history in school, college where history got interesting. Yeah, for sure. And like learning history on your own too is I think when it really clicked that my hobbies are largely learning based hobbies. Yeah, lots of my hobbies are often learning based hobbies, like dinosaurs, you know, learning about paleontology, different species, different methods, famous paleontologists, people who are pioneers in the field, learning about that, learning about the original Bones race, all those things, learning based. And it's an evolving field. Same with, you know, science fiction and writing. Learn about that and how that's different, how some science fiction has become reality, some of it hasn't, how it holds up, how it's social commentary, which, you know, falls into the history pyramid as well, which, you know, it's very it kind of clicked with me as like, oh yeah, I can learn outside of school. I don't need to go to school to learn anymore. You know, which is why I think between my ADHD and whatever the hell else is going on with me, I learned so many things, and I am a jack of many trades and a master of none. But a man who knows many is better than the man who knows none. I thought maybe one day I'd reach polymath status, but I don't think that'll ever happen, and that's okay. I'd rather just continue to learn and never be an expert at something, because that means that I've peaked in that field, and I don't want to peak in a field. I want to keep learning and be wrong, make mistakes, and learn new things. So yeah, that's my babbling about art and teachers and school and learning. Never stop learning, kids. Cool. What time is it now? Oh wow, it's already tomorrow. All right, I think I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to call this Back wall is done. Learning, grew to love it. Hands-on learning from art, different art practices. Absolutely. Absolutely. But as I said, friends, I'm going to call this here. We've been going at it for quite a while. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are new to the channel, this is what we do. We make art. Sometimes it's a lot faster paced and more exciting than this, but we made rocks. We made cool space rocks. And that's just what I said, Aunt. That is exactly what I said. It's better than none. It's better than a nun. You know, nuns are sometimes nice people, but oftentimes they're really stuffy and mean. They have rulers. It's weird. Anyway, if you guys like this type of stuff, subscribe, hit the like button, share it with a friend, share it with an enemy. If you're in a position to help out, you want to help continue to fund the channel, hit up the Patreon. Links are below. Ko-Fi if you want to buy me a coffee. Shoot, buy me a coffee. We'll set up a Zoom and we'll have coffee together. I'll talk to you. I'll be like, what's up? What's up? And then I'll drink my coffee real loud. But hope you guys have an excellent evening. Be well. Too sweet me. Boom.